Welcome to Tim's Final Confessions and welcome to an album in review. I'm Tim Derling. If you're new to this particular segment, every Friday I like to take an album, talk about it for 3 or 4 minutes. And today is an album that was heavily anticipated, and the CD I've got is the CD I bought early in '92, and it was one of the last CDs I bought with a long box packaging. I'll let the older people explain that to the younger people, but I'm talking about Def Leppard's Adrenalize, the long-awaited follow-up to Hysteria. Seemed like forever, you know, when you're waiting for an album. Of course, this came after the death of Steve Clark, although, you know, I think most of the album was written, a lot of it was recorded. Phil Collins does all the guitars on here, and, you know, to this day, it's strange for me to see a picture of Def Leppard as a four-piece. You know, they got Vivian Campbell shortly thereafter before the tour started. But this album, you know, over the years I keep going back and listening to it, and I've never been able to quite shake the idea that this was a little underwhelming. And I'm a huge fan. I was, you know, so ready to get into this album. But for one thing, it's only got 10 songs on it, whereas Hysteria had 12. One of the 10 songs is Tear It Down, which is a fantastic rocker, but it had already been released as a B-side. So most people, a lot of diehard Def Leppard fans knew that song. So really we're getting 9 new songs. And of those songs, you know, they had a lot of hits. You know, they weathered the grunge era, 92, 93 okay. It wasn't until after that that their sales really started to slump. But I remember the first single, Let's Get Rocked, when that came out. I remember thinking, okay, I like it, it's catchy, but it's gonna sound pretty silly compared to what else is out there, the more serious, you know, grunge stuff. And I do remember it getting some snickers and thinking maybe, you know, maybe this song's a few years too late. Now I don't care. Now I like it. My favorite song on this album was, and will always be Stand Up, Kick, Love, and Demotion. I think that is a fantastic song that, had that been on Hysteria and released as a single, probably would have been a top 10 hit. It sounds to me directly like it came from the Hysteria sessions. I could see it nestled somewhere on side 2 of that album. So that one's a favorite of mine. White Lightning is a great tribute to Steve Clark. This is not a bad album by any stretch of the imagination, but something had to follow up Hysteria, and you know it's good. You know, I like it. I'm not gonna slag the album. It just had that a little bit of a come down. If Hysteria was a flat out 10 out of 10, my opinion, this is a solid 8. So, anybody disagree with me? Anybody like this one better than Hysteria? Let me know in the comments. It's all opinions. An album review today, Def Leppard Adrenalize. Thanks for watching Tim's Final Confessions.